What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. Today, we start off by debating and discussing whether the Supreme Court should force colleges to pay their student athletes, as the Supreme Court has said that they will hear this case starting in 2021. Then we throw it over to the NBA, where we discuss how long Brad Stevens has to win a championship in Boston before he is ousted. Then we take a look at Luka Doncic being named the favorite for the MVP award in the NBA over Giannis Antetokounmpo and give our thoughts on how that is going to play out. Plus, we take a look at Zion Williamson and see if he is going to become the first overall pick prodigy that he has been built up to at this point in time. And then we finish off by giving our 3 expectations for this NBA season. All that and much more coming your way right now. All right, Nick. Well, I think this is one of the biggest news stories that we've had in a long time outside of just athletes, but the fact that the Supreme Court is going to start listening to arguments as to why student athletes should be paid by the colleges is very interesting and definitely something we need to talk about here.
Yeah, it's something that's been an issue, a topic for a long time, and this is something that honestly I never expected this to happen, and I think there's a lot of people out there that never expected the NCAA to be headed to the Supreme Court in 2021, where the Supreme Court might just force them to start paying these student athletes because they're making money off of their names. Why shouldn't the athletes make some money off of their own name? So
Yeah, I think we're going to land on different aspects of this, and for good reason. I think there's going to be a lively discussion here. So the way I want to break this down, I want you to give me your argument. I'm going to give you my argument. Then we can rebut each other, and then we'll just finish it off with a closing statement.
sure. So there are a ton of reasons why the NCAA should be paying their athletes, and I've already named one, but I think the most prevalent is it gives these players an opportunity to go and get a scholarship that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get. Say a student has 2 opportunities. They're able to go to a Division 1 school and get a big scholarship, or they can stay local, play Division 2 ball, and keep working for their family and being the money earner and risk their future just to keep their families afloat. Or now you can pay your athletes. They don't have to keep that local job and pay their family. They can go take that Division 1 scholarship. They can prove themselves as a great athlete. They don't have to worry about where their money is coming from for their family. And now they can go and try to earn a living as a professional athlete and get a better scholarship and a better education from another school.
Okay. So I have thought about this a lot, and I've actually debated this a lot, both in high school and college, and just in general with some of our friends. I do not believe that colleges should be forced to pay student athletes. I believe that student athletes should be able to make money by either getting an outside job or doing signings. They should make money on their likeness. If the NCAA football game ever comes back out through EA Sports, they should get some of the revenue from that as well. I think that by setting the precedent that colleges need to pay student athletes, you are coming down a deep hole that is going to put these colleges at risk of not even wanting to utilize college athletics. And this is where I'm going to try to figure this out. How do you tell me what somebody at South Missouri State that plays volleyball should get paid versus somebody that plays Alabama football for Nick Saban? Why should their pay be different? and especially when you go through the different genders and the different sports and whatever the case is, you're going to find a lot of issues when it comes to paying these athletes. These schools aren't going to do it. They're just going to shut down their athletics essentially if they have to pay these athletes.
Yeah, I think that's a valid argument, but I think the problem is when you break it down, these are student athletes, right? They are students first, and then they focus on the sport that they're playing. You're in classes every single day of every single week, and then you are on the football field or you're on a field and you're practicing and then you're getting ready for the game. There is very little time to get your homework done, get your studies in, as well as hold down a job that can earn you enough money to help your family out or keep yourself afloat. I believe that now with the NCAA being forced to pay players based on the division they're in, you'll get more if you're in a higher division versus a lower division, and you'll get that money to support your family. Now you can just focus on doing well in school and doing well on in your sport. You don't have to focus on money and where your next, meal is going to come from or where your next family's meal is going to come from. You can really focus on what you need to at hand.
Right, but what you're describing is not the majority of the student athlete population. What you're describing is essentially a small section of student athletes who have to be able to contribute to their family as well as compete for a prominent position as a student athlete. What I'm trying to say is that let them make money doing other things. If they can take especially in the off season. I mean, every sport has an off season. You can make money by signing jerseys, by signing pictures, by doing different events.
That's only
Let
if your
them
name is worth something.
Okay, and then what about the people who can get side jobs in the off season? What about those on campus jobs that they can get that they're not allowed to get right now? Again, student athletes like some these Division 1 student athletes can't even be RAs on their in their resident halls because that is a way that they would end up making money. I think if we opened up different avenues for them to be able to make money instead of just handing them paychecks because now you're taking away their ability to be essentially, the not rookies but amateur athletes. They are no longer amateur athletes. You're basically making them professionals already because they're being paid for the craft in which they're doing. And then how do you tell somebody who's not an athlete that they can't get paid? Somebody who's part of the chess club that still competes against other schools, or anybody that's a part of different clubs or organizations that goes out and does more. Should you pay student government because they have actual jobs that they're doing that is going to help benefit the student body? I mean, where does the allocation of funds for paying students end?
I think that we need to focus on how you're helping students. When we first, one of your points was students can get a job in the off season of their sport. Well, what if
Mhm.
your off season is only 3-4 months long? Well, what is your family gonna do? What are you gonna do in those 7-8 months where you cannot make money for yourself or your family? What are you gonna do in that instance? Or
Like I said,
how
you're
could you
describing a
even
very small bracket of
fine?
people.
How could you get a job even if you were eligible to be a resident advisor, an RA? How could you be if you're not there all the time because you are focused on your athletics as well? You can't be there
I went to a
for
Division 2 school, and we had student athletes who could be RAs.
it's
They
not
were
the
RAs
case.
all the time.
It's not the case in every situation, and I think that we need to be putting students first. I think we need to be helping them out financially, making sure they're secure, so that way when they are focused on school, we know they're giving it them all. When they're on the doing their athletics, we know they're able to give it their all, and they're not focused on something external. They're focused on what the task at hand, and everything else comes second. Financials is a huge burden on most people in this country, and especially a lot of athletes that come from impoverished areas. That's a huge concern for them. I mean, if you've ever watched the college Netflix TV show, a lot of those students are have jobs at night where they're up until 1 2 a.m. working their job, and then they're up at 6 a.m. for practice. I mean, they need to make the money in order to keep their family and themselves afloat. Otherwise, it's all for naught. If you
I
take away
I
that
under
financial aspect of it and they can focus on their game, they'll be able to excel at that and be able to potentially make a career out of it and make even more money for themselves.
I understand that, but how do you tell a student who isn't athletically gifted that is in the same exact situation that they don't get money for that exact reason? I mean, somebody who is, studying beyond their just to get by and doesn't have the athletic ability to get a scholarship. I mean, don't forget these athletes are getting paid in the form of scholarships. They're not paying for their education. That's how they're getting paid as of right now. So
That's the only way
essentially,
they're able to go to school in the first place.
but athletes aren't the only ones that are being hurt by this affliction. Poverty hits a lot of people in different ways, and it's not just those who are
We're but
athletically gifted.
we're solely focused on student athletes. We're not focused on anybody else at the
But
point.
my point is that as soon as you start paying student athletes, everybody who has a gripe is going to come out of the woodwork, and there is going to be no stopping this flow of money, which is going to cause an issue for these college athletics. That's
I don't
that's the
think
point.
I think this is an incentive for every up and comer who's in high school or middle school or elementary school to start focusing on not only their education but also on their athletics, because they know when I make it to college, I'm not only getting to play for a college, but I'm also getting to make money as well. So it's kind of more incentive for these youngsters to really do well in school and to get to
No,
college. I think this is yeah, this is
no, because what you're incentivizing is, listen, if you are part of the very few people that are good enough to make it to a top uh division 1A school under a scholarship, right? And that you're probably going to end up making it professionally in some way, shape, or form, most of the time, right? Those are the people that are going to make millions of dollars anyway. Take them away. And what we're talking about here is essentially incentivizing people, just saying, listen, we're not only going to pay for your school, but we're going to pay you just to go to school. And that's not what we're in the business of doing. That's not what this should be about. And that's why I have a major problem with colleges paying student athletes. Allow them to get payment from somewhere else, not just from going to practice and playing games. That's not what this is supposed to be about. They are supposed to be amateur athletes. They are not supposed to be professionals.
but I mean, I have friends who were able to make money and not even as athletes, make money for being in the for getting the degree they were getting. They
Of
didn't
course,
have
and that was
their
through
college
third parties.
their college was free. They got paid to go to school, but they didn't have to be athletes. I
Was
think
that
the
through a
same
third party?
it was a government incented program, but
Exactly. So that was they were paid through another program.
we're
That
talking about the NCAA. We're not talking about the school. We're talking about them. They're making money
the
off of these players.
NCAA is going to, the NCAA is not going to pay anybody. They're going to
Yeah,
force the colleges to
and then
pay.
the colleges have all these boosters. I mean, if we're talking about some of these major schools, if you're a player and you were offered a scholarship to go to Alabama, or you can go to Central Mississippi, but you are worried that you won't have the funds to go to Alabama, so you're going to take that position at Central Mississippi, you don't have to anymore, because boosters at Alabama are going to help pay for you. They're going to give you the money to keep you and your family afloat if that's of any issue. And now you get to get a better education on top of playing at a much better school and having a much better
But
potential at making it
how
to a
do these
professional level.
how are these schools supposed to prioritize who gets what? Because there is
It's
a
based on your
finite amount of
division.
money.
It's based on your division. Are you a
So
division
Division
one, two, or
One,
three? Are you a
so
division
Division
one or
One.
1A?
Listen, so a Division 1 volleyball player should make more than a Division 2 football player.
No. It's solely based on how much revenue the sport brings in versus what division you're playing at. There's different tiers to this, and it's all variations of
I
what sport you're playing in.
I think your argument is vastly flawed here. There's not enough money to keep paying everybody because then nobody's going to go
I'm
to
not
school unless
saying.
they're an athlete. There's no
Listen,
reason to go
listen.
to school at that point.
I'm not saying each player's getting $50,000 a year to go to play at a school. No, I'm saying $5,000-$10,000 at most. We're talking about a stipend. We're not talking about absurd amounts of money.
And that can all be done by doing
even
jobs on campus.
Even small colleges have hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's not like there's a lack of funds coming from these schools. They have plenty of money.
Athletics are not the end all and be all of these colleges and universities.
Athletics are a priority for many, many schools. It's what keeps their schools afloat. That's how they make most of their money. You think Clemson makes money for their education? No. You think Alabama makes money for their education? No. It's all about their sports, all about their athletics.
All right. Give me one statement and finish up here.
The NCAA needs to pay student athletes. It's clear as day. They're making money off of their name, and there's no reason that the student athletes should not get a cut of that.
The NCAA is a governing body where the colleges and universities make the money. The colleges and universities should not necessarily pay the student athletes, but they should not hold them back from being able to acquire income, whether it be it from their own likeness, from their signature, whether it's from a third party job or other. Don't forget, student athletes also can't receive scholarships that are outside of the school as well. So I think that if they can apply for those sorts of things plus government financing, I think that we can open up the conversation to be colleges shouldn't be paying the student athletes, but allow them to obtain payment from other sources of income. All right. Well, that was a very lively debate, and listen. At the end of the day, we both differ on our opinion, but the idea remains the same. We want the best for not only the student athletes, but for everyone involved. We want the colleges and universities to continue to make money. We want to see the absolute best athletics as humanly possible, and we want to see these athletes do well, not both in their personal life and on the field. So I think that there's a lot more to this and a lot more discussion that can be had. So let us know in the comments below what you guys' thoughts is on this, and let us know where we might have misstepped somewhere or something that we might have missed. With that being said, let's throw it over to the NBA. All right, so we have some interesting topics to cover here. The NBA is right upon us. We are finally getting to the 2020-21 season. It seems like just yesterday that the Lakers were celebrating their championship, but after a brief hiatus from last season and everything that happened, we are going to start our 72 game shortened schedule in the coming days. And I just want to start off by saying, with this first topic, the Boston Celtics have made some interesting moves, and one of which was sort of unplanned on their part. Obviously, the loss of Gordon Hayward, they thought they were going to be able to complete a sign and trade, whether it be with Indiana or Charlotte or whatever team was looking to acquire him. That wasn't the case. He took matters into his own hands, opted out of his contract, and then signed with the Charlotte Hornets. No need to rehash that. But they did sign Jeff Teague. They signed Tristan Thompson. And they had a really good draft with Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith, added some really key pieces for depth and scoring that they lacked all of last year, which screwed them over in the Miami Heat series. They added a good big man that is going to help against some of these other guys in the East, Joel Embiid and Bam Adebayo, not Serge Ibaka, he's gone. Aaron Baines in Toronto. There's a lot of talent in the Eastern Conference at the front court. I guess that begs the question, with all of this talent around him, everything Danny Ainge has done in the last few years, getting the roster to where it is, how long do you think that Brad Stevens has until the Celtics have to move on from him?
2 years. I think that Brad Stevens has 2 years. He has this season, 2021, and he'll get all of 2022 season. I believe that Brad Stevens has had so many pieces around him for such a long time now, and he's come razor close to making it to the finals, but he has not made it there. And it's all because of him. It's been a lack of coaching. He chokes down the stretch. He does a great job in the regular season. He does great in the first or second round of the playoffs. But then when it comes to crunch time, when it's clutch time to clutch it up, he can't do it. He chokes. He doesn't know how to rotate his players in and out. He doesn't know when to keep players in. He doesn't run good schemes. He doesn't know how to stop a good offense or another good coach. I believe that Brad Stevens needs to show that he's improving as a coach as well. And he has more talent around him, I believe, than he ever has. And there are no excuses anymore. There's no Gordon Hayward, so you're not going to be like, oh, he's been injured, so you got to take that into account. A lot of these guys are built to last. They're young guys, and he should be able to groom them into the players that they are going to be, that they should be, if he's as good of a coach as we think he is. Otherwise, the Boston Celtics need to move on because this team is too good to not make it to a finals, let alone not win a final.
I believe Brad Stevens is in a predicament that there's been a lot of roster turnover in the last few years. If you have to imagine that Kyrie Irving was on the roster for all of 1 year, don't forget Brad Stevens was here for the Isaiah Thomas, uh, you know, era, if you will. And then on top of that, right now we have the Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum era that we're currently in. I think the Celtics have done a really good job of making sure that they have the requisite talent that they need to compete. I think last year that they found themselves in a tough scenario with Bam Adebayo and the talent that the Miami Heat have acquired with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and those guys that are there. I think that the Miami Heat provided a different type of beast that the Celtics were not ready to accomplish. They weren't expecting to face off against the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference. They were expecting Giannis and the Bucks or Joel and the 76ers or even the Toronto Raptors, which we saw that in the series before. I think that Brad has seen a lot now. I think there's all the excuses are gone. So I'm going to say he's got 4 years. He's got 4 years under the new Jason Tatum deal to get this thing right. And I know that's a lot. I know that's way more than he probably should get. But this is the nucleus of the team. The team has been built around him. The moment you lose the coach, everything you have built now goes out the window. And I don't think you can give up on that in 2 years. I think as long as you see steady progression, right now it was, going to a game 6, I believe, or game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now we're heading, okay, can they make it to the finals? Even if they make it to the finals and don't win a title in the next 2 years, I will count that as progression. Then they have to win the title within the 4 years for him to be established as the Celtics coach moving forward. Even then, I still think that this team, the way it is built, the way Danny Ainge has had to build this roster, should be able to compete for multiple championships, not just one championship year. I think that's going to be the caveat to this, is that not only does he need to be able to compete and win a championship, he needs to compete and win multiple championships.
Yeah, Brad Stevens was an extremely hyped up coach coming into the NBA, and he proved right away why he is such a good coach. He's a young guy, he understands players, he knows how to groom them into great players, and he's gotten them to a level, but it seems like there's a point at which he can't get them above that threshold. And there is untapped potential in each and every one of the players he has. He's had, as you mentioned, Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving, and now he has Kemba Walker. I mean, these are three great point guards that he's had, and they've had success under him, but they haven't been able to get the team to where they should have been at those moments. Now you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, is the only one that really shows that he is truly progressing and getting better each and every year. Jason Tatum is making small improvements from year to year. This is going to be a year, especially where we're going to see whether he has what it takes to be the true superstar that we expect him to be. I mean, the team has too much talent. The all of these players on the team are they're finals caliber players, and there's no reason why they can't be there this year. I want to give Brad Stevens only 1 year, but I know that this team is fairly new and they still need to build chemistry, so things just don't happen overnight. But I believe Brad Stevens needs to be on a short leash right now, and they need to potentially start looking at other options if he can't get the job done.
I think it'll be interesting. Danny Ainge and Wick Grusbeck, the majority owner of the Boston Celtics, have their work cut out for them getting this roster to progress as well. Danny Ainge has done a really good job, I think, so far, based on what I've seen of getting the roster. You know, he's built depth, he's gotten talent all across the board, up and down the lineup. They may not all be household names, but they don't have to be because they all serve a purpose. Kind of like the his counterpart Bill Belichick in New England. There, I think that just because they're not household names doesn't mean that they can't become that way. You're looking at some of these roster moves that he's made. Like I said, Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, these young rookies, they're going to be studs. I think they're going to help a lot when it comes to the scoring off the bench. What you saw last year and pretty much the year before was that as soon as the starters came off for the Celtics, there was a very big lack of scoring, and most of the scoring came from Marcus Smart. Now he's going to be thrust into the starting lineup, especially with Kemba Walker not playing anymore, starting the season hurt. It's going to be very tough for the bench to get scoring. I think Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith are going to be leaned on heavily to get that done. Jeff Teague is going to learn the offense. He's going to be able to run it with the second team. We need to see some progression out of Shemi Ojale. I think Grant Williams has shown a lot in his rookie year. Let's see if he can take the next step forward in his second year. I want to see what Robert Williams can do. Robert Williams was projected as a top 5 pick until there were character questions where the Celtics were able to snag him up with the 15th overall pick. Now let's see what he can provide for the Celtics moving forward. I think there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. I think this is the year that if those questions aren't answered, then we have some trouble. But I'm not ready to hit the panic button just yet.
Yeah, my concern is that Brad Stevens is kind of taking the Bill Belichick approach, kind of using that New England thing that they have going on, where you're gonna take your young guy, your rookie, and let him play in the G League, let him sit the bench, let him sit the first year and learn. That's not how it works in the NBA. You are ready to go. These guys are in their prime right now at 18 years old. So let them play for you. We see it down in Miami. Tyler Hero is 19 years old and he's killing it because Eric Spoelstra is not afraid to put him out there and let him carry the team when he needs to. Let these young guys work. Let a guy like James Naismith or Peyton Pritchard play in their first year and help the team out while Kemba Walker is recovering from injury. But we're not going to see that happen. We're going to see them sit the bench. They're going to come and play a couple minutes, just like the rookies last year did for the Celtics, and they're going to have little to no role at all. I would just say the way Brad does business, and it's not how it should be done in the NBA.
The difference between last year's rookies and this year's rookie is that Carson Edwards and
Romeo Langford.
Romeo Langford started the year and missed half of the year due to injury, so that was a little tough. But Carson Edwards and those guys, we even saw it in the preseason. They are not top. They're not worth a starting spot. They're not even worth a bench spot. There were points in time.
There were points in time where Taco Fall. Yeah, it's Taco Fall. You should be out there. But he's not. And Brad Stevens is almost using him as a gimmick when he's not. He is a true big man that can help this team, and he's not going to grow unless you put him out there.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely some things that Brad needs to work on. Like I said, I think there's more questions that need to be answered, starting with, the roster and how this is going to provide some more depth than we've had in years past. Um, but we'll see. Brad Stevens, you know, for the most part, I believe that he's done a really good job. I think that there's little room to be able to question him. You can question certain things in certain games, but overall, I have to commend him. I think he's done a really good job, especially with the massive roster turnover that he's had to deal with, all the different personalities he's had to deal with. It's been a lot. You know, there's only so much you can deal with as one person. So. I give him a little slack there, but this is the time that we got to ramp it up and we got to see what he can do for the city of Boston.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get a personality of his own.
I doubt it. Boston's a little cold. All right. So on the other side of the coin, not anything the Celtics have to worry about is the MVP award. And I think that people kind of were in shock when they saw the first odds makers put out their predictions and having Luka Doncic lead over Giannis Antetokounmpo as the favorite for the NBA MVP. Quickly, can you give me your thoughts on this and just, what you think this means? And do you even agree with them?
Yeah, no, I actually do like Luka as the MVP favorite. I believe that Giannis, if you look at what happened with the whole Drew Holiday trade, the Milwaukee Bucks, in my opinion, got worse after that trade. They traded away so many assets. They lost future draft picks, but that's not a concern for right now. The Milwaukee Bucks have three names on their roster right now. You have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Giannis is not going to play any better than he did last year with the team he has now. In fact, it'll probably be even worse because there's less bench depth. He's gonna have to play more minutes. He's gonna get tired. It could result in injury if you're making him play that much more. I mean, there's so much more weight he has to carry, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to handle it as a bigger guy. I just don't see it happening. But Luka as a point forward, as a point guard, as somebody who handles the ball and facilitates, I think that he is able to get the job done. He has more opportunities to prove why he is the most valuable player in the NBA. He has a much better surrounding cast than Milwaukee. I think that he's been close before, and Luka seems to be getting better every single year. So I think this is the year that Luka can finally get it done.
Yeah, I like Luka Doncic here. I like him as the MVP, and we're going to get to it a little bit later. But one of my expectations for the season is that Luka will win the MVP, and I believe that Giannis, he's going to have to carry the torch for the Bucks in a regressive state, as so detailed. I believe that the only thing that can save them right now is trading for James Harden, is making and then again, they're going to have to give up Chris Middleton. They're going to have to give up more depth. It's literally going to be Drew Holiday, James Harden, and Giannis Antetokounmpo,
And that's it.
and a bunch of people because Dante DiVincenzo is not going to be there.
No.
Chris Middleton will not be there. There's a lot of pieces that will no longer be a part of the Bucks organization, and I think that Giannis is going to be hampered not only as his role is going to be diminished, but also, he's going to have to learn the chemistry that's going to come along with James Harden. That's not going to happen overnight, and that's going to hurt him in the MVP race. I don't even think he finishes as a top 4 contender at that point in time. I think you're going to look at players like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I mean, these guys are probably going to overtake him, especially, like I said, with the regressive state that the Milwaukee Bucks are in.
Yeah, and I think another thing to consider is Milwaukee. The Eastern Conference has gotten a lot more difficult to excel in, and Milwaukee is no longer the favorite. So I think if Milwaukee doesn't perform up to standards, that's going to fall bad on Giannis because he leads the team. As the leader, right, he's going to take the fall for it, and that's going to hurt him in the MVP standing. So even if the team is doing well, but they're the 6th seed in the East, he's not going to look so good.
No, not at all. And I think that, the addition of Kyrie and KD to Brooklyn adds an entirely new element to the Eastern Conference that wasn't there the last few years. We have the Miami Heat, who aren't sneaking up on anyone anymore. They made it to the NBA Finals. We know exactly who they are, and the Boston Celtics aren't sneaking up on anyone. The Philadelphia 76ers are still trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen there. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, how they can work together and actually win at the same time. Now that they lost Al Horford, maybe they can actually get back to their winning ways. But there's a lot of competition in the Eastern Conference, and Milwaukee's road to winning just got that much harder. Giannis's road to another MVP just got that much harder.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, somebody who might also be in the MVP conversation would be Zion Williamson. And I know it's hard to say that, especially from the lack of playing time that we saw last year. But this is exactly what we want to discuss. Do we believe, Nick, do you believe that this is the year that Zion Williamson proves why he was the phenom, the LeBron James 2.0, the absolute stud that needed to be taken number 1 overall? Is this the year that Zion Williamson leads the Pelicans to the promised land, the playoffs?
He better. That's all I have to say. He absolutely better prove that he was worth that number 1 overall pick, because you have so much talent around you. You have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, yourself. I mean, this team is set up for success. They had great chemistry last year. Zion came on late because of the injury and didn't do too much, but now he has a full season to get it done. And I think that this is his opportunity. He was so highly touted coming out of college, and we haven't seen much. He hasn't been given too much opportunity, but he needs to prove it right away. He needs to prove that he can lead this team. Brandon Ingram was the leader of this team last year. Lonzo Ball is a great facilitator, so you're going to have a great handler at the top of the key. Zion should have no problem being able to do his thing. He has nothing standing in his way. He is supposed to be one of the best players at his position, and it's time for him to prove it. This is the year for him.
Yeah, I think all of the built-in misconceptions and the built-in arguments are gone. They're out the window. Lonzo at the point, JJ Redick at the 2, Brandon Ingram, who's a bona fide scorer, at the 3, Zion at the 4. I mean, they have built this team to not only compete in the Western Conference, but to make a good playoff run. And it all hinges on the fact that Zion Williamson is the guy that everybody says he is, that he is this bona fide star. He is going to be a lifelong top 3 player in the NBA, that he is he is going to come into camp, or not even camp. He's going to come into the season in shape, ready to go. He needs to shed the injury history. He needs to come in and be that absolute stud, because this team does not work with him showing up the way he did last year. It's just not going to work. We saw flashes of his greatness, but we need to see it sustained. We need to see the Zion Williamson that was promised in Duke. And don't forget, he is coming off of the past 2 seasons. He has been severely injured, and he has missed significant time. We haven't seen Zion Williamson in almost 3 years. That was back in high school. I mean, we really need to see him produce at a top level. We have not seen it yet. I think there's still a lot of questions here. Zion Williamson, like you said, he better prove himself, because otherwise the New Orleans Pelicans are in a hell of a lot of trouble. All right. Well, between Zion Williamson and the MVP award, there's a whole lot of things that are going on. The NBA, like I said, is right around the corner. And I think that is the perfect time for us to lay out our expectations, what we expect to do, what we expect to see coming from the NBA. Nick, why don't you start us off? What is your first expectation of the 2020-2021 NBA season?
My first expectation: the Miami Heat will win the Eastern Conference. I believe the Miami Heat are by far the strongest team in the conference. They got stronger. Eric Spoelstra, in my opinion, is the best coach in the NBA. I think that he is doing a fantastic job. He absolutely knows how to groom players. I think Brad Stevens needs to take a page out of his book. And I think that this team made it to the finals last year. They were young. Their players have a lot more experience now. I think that they're they're able to do anything. I think there is no team in the East that they can't get past right now, and I think it should be a pretty easy ride for them to get to the top.
Interesting. So you think the Miami Heat over the Nets
Yep.
over interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Again, we haven't seen what this Nets team looks like, what they look like in full force. And
If I'm being honest,
we
I think they're a little overrated.
oh, well, I guess we'll have to discuss that next week. Um Okay. All right. Listen, I'm not with you on it, but I'll be with you when it happens. LaMelo Ball, in my estimation, this is my expectation. LaMelo Ball will win Rookie of the Year. Not Anthony Edwards, not James Wiseman. Those two guys selected above him. I believe LaMelo Ball is the best player to come out of this draft right now. I think he will win Rookie of the Year. Not only will he win Rookie of the Year, but I think it won't even be a question. I think by the time we get to March, we're going to say, yeah, there's absolutely no doubt in anybody's mind that he is going to win Rookie of the Year. If you take a look at the way the Charlotte Hornets are built, they are predicated on LaMelo Ball being the not only a facilitator but their primary scorer, especially with the fact that Gordon Hayward is injured yet again. It's not going to be up to Terry Rozier. It's not going to be up to, any of these guys that they have on the roster. It's going to be LaMelo Ball handling business for the Charlotte Hornets. He's going to be groomed by Big Mike himself, Michael Jordan. I think that there is a lot to it for LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. He will be Rookie of the Year.
I absolutely love this. I love LaMelo Ball. I've loved him since he was a freshman in high school. He's an amazing player. I can't wait for him to face off against his brother, but I can't wait for him to be named Rookie of the Year. That sounds great.
Yeah, well, I take it at the face value of his play and not who he is as a character of a person.
He's a great
Uh,
person.
yeah, well, give me your second expectation there, Nostradamus.
The former number 2 pick, or I'm sorry, the team that picked number 2 in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors, will become a top 3 seed in the Western Conference next season. I believe the Golden State Warriors are a good enough team even without Klay Thompson to get to be the top 3 team. I believe that there are only a couple teams that are better than them in the West, and I believe that they are by far a top 3 team. Steph Curry is still an amazing player. You still have Draymond Green. You still have Andrew Wiggins, who's become a much better player with Golden State. I believe you added James Wiseman, who could be a huge threat for you. Golden State is a team to watch out for. They are back at the top, and they're a team to be considered as a very strong team that you really need to be taking seriously. Take them seriously,
Bruh.
Take them seriously. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on them. Don't do it.
I looked around my room to figure out what the hell you were smoking because there is no shot this is happening. They will not be a top 3 seed. You're telling me that without their second best player, they're going to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, the most heavily contested conference in not only in basketball, but I mean, just look at how deep it is. You're telling me. I mean, I'm assuming that you have the Lakers ahead of them,
Yeah.
and I assume that probably the Clippers.
No. I
Okay.
think.
So you're saying that they're going to be better than the Clippers?
Yes.
You think that they're going to be better than Denver?
Yeah, I do.
You think they're going to be better than?
I'm not saying I know who the other 2 teams are. I know obviously one of them's the Lakers. I think they're going to be a top 3 seed. They could be 2, they could be 3. I'm just saying they're going to be top 3.
Yeah, you on drugs. I'm going to have to get you tested.
It's not ridiculous. Yeah. Think about it. It's not ridiculous.
Hold on, let me think about it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's no way Golden State becomes a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. There's absolutely no way. The addition of James Wiseman is like it doesn't matter. It's going to be null and void. The type of basketball that they play, he is not a player that is going to produce for them in the long run. He's going to get, maybe a double-double or maybe even, have some really good nights. But outside of that, he is not going to be a consistent scorer for them. It is the Steph Curry show. He's missing his partner in crime in Klay Thompson. We wish him nothing but the best to get back healthy. But yeah, no, Golden State, yikes. This is I can tell you right now, this is a swing and a miss, 100%.
I'll be laughing at the end of the day. I know that. But you think what
maybe
you
at
want.
the end of today, but not at the end of the season. I'll be the one laughing. That's for damn sure. You know who will be laughing at everyone? As I said before, Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic will win MVP. That is my second expectation for this NBA season. I believe Luka has done absolutely everything that he needs to do to set himself apart. On top of the fact that this is Mavericks team is his team. He may have his counterpart in Kristaps Porzingis, but at the end of the day, again, this is his team. Wherever the Mavericks go is because Luka led them there. His ability to be a bona fide top scorer in this league, he's working on his defensive game. He is going to be one of the best all-around players in our lifetime. I think this is the first season he wins MVP, and it's going to be the first of many moving forward.
It's definitely a possibility. He's leading the MVP voting right now. I think Lucas, like you said, he's set up to win MVP. He has all the tools to do it. Why not? Why not Luka? He's the face. In my opinion, he's the face of the league. It's time for him to step up and be named MVP.
Interesting.
Now, with my final expectation going into the NBA season, without a doubt, the Los Angeles Lakers will be winning for a consecutive year. The Los Angeles Lakers will be your 2020-2021 NBA World Champions. This team is star-studded, and they got so much better with that offseason. I mean, you had Marc Gasol, Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell. I mean, man.
Montrezl sellout Harrell.
It was sellout. He went for a ring. It's a guaranteed ring. Can you blame the man? No.
Yes, I can.
No.
What did I say? What did I say that was so wrong?
What?
Tell me what I said that was wrong.
Sellout. You're upset at a guy who's winning a ring.
Sellout.
Listen, he's making millions of dollars and winning.
Sellout Harrell.
He gets some free bling. He gets that free bling.
Phonetically, that's how you say his name. Sellout.
Don't be hating on the Lakers. There is no team in the NBA that is better than this team. They are in a whole other tier. They are on cloud 9. Everybody else is on cloud 1.
I mean, they're on cloud 9 because they're smoking that shit, but Montrezl Harrell sold out just to get them a ring. I mean, that's pretty much it. He didn't want to do the hard work. He pulled the KD. He was like, I want a free ring.
He couldn't do it with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So he's going to go do it with Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
He's as soft as your butt pillow. I mean, I don't understand what you want from him, but, Montrezl Harrell is the biggest sellout. The Lakers getting stronger is part of it, but you know what? At the end of the day, this just makes me angry to even think about.
You might be angry. I'm not happy about it. I'm not a Laker fan, but it's the truth. They're winning it. Without a doubt.
The Lakers are the new Yankees. They just buy championships, and they expect people to
do what you gotta do.
They expect people to, applaud them for winning, and they're like, "Yeah, nobody gives a shit. You bought it. Congratulations, it's worthless." Put a little asterisk next to it and call it a day.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
We kind of have the same idea. Only I believe that my third expectation will be that the Lakers will make it to the finals. Now, I'm not going to give you a prediction just yet, but I will tell you who they're going to face. The Boston Celtics. That is right. The Boston Celtics will take the absolute step that is necessary. If you want to quote me on it, go ahead. I'll timestamp it for you. We are sitting here on December 20th, 2020, recording this video for you. The Boston Celtics will be facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, here's my problem. If I say the Lakers win, it's because I'm taking the easy way out. If I say the Celtics win, hold on. If I say the Celtics win, it's because I'm a hometown hero. I can't win either way, so that I'm not coming out with a prediction just yet.
That's
Not
cheap.
just yet.
Nah, that's cheap.
No, because I hear it from both sides. You only pick Boston because you're from there.
Listen,
You pick the Lakers because it's the
no.
easiest way to bet. I don't give a shit.
How is
I'm
it?
tired of this shit.
How is the Lakers winning an easy answer? It's the only answer. It's
easy.
Nah.
It's easy.
Only.
You took the easy way out. You soft like Montrez sellout Harrell. Like your butt pillow.
He's going to get that bling bling. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, who's got that ring?
Well, don't worry. I'm going to take a look at it and carve a little asterisk right next to it. Tell him to go see Unc. That's right. Go see Unc. Let him know. The asterisk, he bought that.
Who, Uncle Drew? Uncle Drew's going to be sitting at home with no rings. Oh, he's got his one.
No, Uncle Shannon. Shannon going to serve up that L. You ever been to Shannon Sharp's restaurant? Serves up L's. Hot L's only.
All right. I think you've had a little too much fun.
Well, I had to take of some of what you were smoking when you said that the Warriors were going to end up as a top 3 pick. So I had to smoke some of that just to get on your level. Apparently,
my mind's clear as day.
Found it.
Clear as day.
It's clear as Flint, Michigan water. All right, I think that'll do it for now. That'll do it for now. I appreciate you guys all listening, taking the time. Make sure to like and comment on this video. If you want to support us, please subscribe to the channel. Over 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel. We would greatly appreciate any support that you can give us. We want to do these videos. We want to be able to continue to do this for you. It all comes from your support. We need to be able to see that you guys want us to continue. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great holiday. We wish you guys nothing but safety and wellness with you and your families. By the time this comes out, we'll have less than a week until Christmas.
Actually, this might, yeah. Well,
less than a week, right?
This clip is actually going to come out, I believe, on Christmas Day or the day after.
And be well, stay true to yourselves, stay healthy, stay safe. Peace and love, baby.